survivors? Welcome to D180, the horror podcast taking you on a ride. I got Giggly John Nay here.
Hey y'all.
I'll tell you while she's laughing, like maybe some shows from now. One day we'll talk about it. But anyway, continuing with March's theme of Grow Up Sis, we're getting ready to explore 2016's Raw. And let me tell y'all, I'm so excited that we're not even doing no intro, none of that. We about to jump straight into this. I mean, we're going to do our meetup or whatever, but you know, we normally...
we're not going to play a game or ask a question.
Oh, like, yeah. We doing all of that. But you know, normally we take about like, 4-5 minutes to get started. No, baby, we about to, boom, hop in this right now. This was my first time seeing this movie. I heard about it when it came out, but you know, as we've learned, it is a French movie. And you know, most of the time, some of them make their way over to the States. They might have a short theater run. And that's basically what happened with this one. When this movie dropped, people was losing their shit over this movie. Ambulances were being called to the screenings. People were passing out. Like eventually, like they started handing out barf bags at these screenings. So you know how every now and then we get a movie that the critics or the like Paranormal Activity, when that one came out and we was just seeing the audience's reaction, and that's just like, damn, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? I need to know what's happening. That's how I felt about this one. But then the buzz just kind of like went away, and this movie was still on my radar, but I never seen it on streaming, and I just never sought the movie, but it was always in the back of my head. So when we came up with this theme, I was like, oh, well, fuck, might as well press that button right now. This isn't actually, according to the director, this is not a horror movie. She says this is more like,
I saw.
Remember what word she used, but God damn,
a personal drama.
Yeah, it was an M word she used, and I can't think of it right now. I'm just like, honey, no disrespect. I'm pretty sure you're an artist that's sensitive about their shit. But when the horror honeys claim you, you might as well just roll with us. And you even said that this was, you know, you're into body horror. And you know what? I almost think that she doesn't think that this is a horror movie because she said that her dad is a doctor and her mom does something else in the medical field. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she's used to seeing shit like this. So I'm like, well, obviously you don't think this is a horror, like, you know. But I mean, I understand what she says by this was not meant to be that way. At the same time, it does work for horror. What's your experience with this movie?
I had to make sure I wasn't on mute, but this was my
I'm sorry, that pause was so perfect, and I'm keeping that in because I really thought you dropped and my heart stopped. But go ahead, I'm sorry, I had to get that out.
No, I really thought that I had to make sure, because this happened to me all day today with my meetings. I would be talking and then they're like, John A, and I'm like, shit, I've been on mute this whole entire time. But
yes.
So this was my first time even seeing this movie. Let me tell y'all what happened to me when I was trying to watch it last night. So I went to go watch it on Amazon. Apparently, the way that my TV is set up, or I guess it was just me, but Amazon had 2 different movies underneath the same title. So one is the actual movie Raw, and then the other one is it said Raw for Life, something about super.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one that when. Now, mine wasn't exactly like that, but I just saw the description, and that's what I was saying to you. But they showed you a whole ass different movie.
Well, yes. So it's weird because, okay, so it had the cover art and the title and the trailer for Raw. But when I went to go watch it for free, it had that different description. And when I went to go watch it for free, it was this old lady walking through the woods talking about her health issues. I was very confused. So then I'm like,
what
okay.
She got us watch?
No, I knew that it wasn't right because I was just walking was talking about her health issues. So then I'm like, okay, let me try and figure this out. So then I ended up renting it for $3.99. Okay, cool. So now I'm trying to play it. It wouldn't play. So I'm like, what is going
What?
on? Then eventually I figured it out and I got it to play the right movie. But yeah, Amazon need to fix that. They got two different movies
Yeah.
under the same title.
They should have low-key refunded you. You should have carried the situation. You just should have.
I
Sometimes
was
you just
so
gotta do.
confused.
You gotta just put on your customer service voice and write an email. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, I quit. Okay.
That does work with Chick-fil-A though.
Oh, trust me. And this is, I know I said we was jumping right into this and I'm getting where I need to go, but I'm going to say this because I'm helping y'all. To all my homies that love some Chick-fil-A, if you order on the mobile app, and look, I do this all the time. I just say thank you in a little note section. I be like, just put in little cute little messages and I be getting free stuff. Like they like that. They be having stressful days at the CFA. Like you need to, be nice to them. They just be so happy that you said thank you and girl, get you a free sandwich. Whatever
I
you
remember
gonna
they
do.
didn't give me a sandwich one time. I didn't even eat the sandwich for my brother, and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't put it in the bag. And we
Mm-mm.
got home and realized they didn't have the sandwich, and then I complained. And they gave me they mailed me some stuff, like a free salad coupon and all types of stuff.
Ooh.
It's like,
See,
okay.
that's what I like. Customer service. Love it. This So earlier I was talking about how our director felt about the film, but I didn't introduce her. Her name is Julia Ducournau. This is actually her film debut. She does have another project out called Junior that actually stars our star of the film, who is Garrett Marlier as Justine. Um, Garrett was a high schooler when they filmed this.
What?
Yes. I was, because,
Now I
okay,
feel disgusting.
sometimes I get that, and sometimes I just gotta get over that because if they agreed to it, unless it's just some super left shit, but if they agreed to it, then I'm like, obviously they read the script and knew what they was getting into, so they said yes.
Man,
But I don't. She was a high schooler, and I think the interview I watched was probably like this came out 2016, had a little circuit 2017. I think it was like 2018. So she said that she was entering college then at that point, 2018. So she was even younger than that. She does amazing in this movie. It's so many parts. As you guys can tell, like I can just barely wait to just get to it because I just have to gush about so much shit. So we have, if I butcher any of these names, I'm so sorry. We always say this all the time. We don't try to do this. We really try to figure out how to pronounce these names. But we have Ella Rumpf as Alexia. Then we have Raba Fella as Adrian. And I'm only going to mention those three because those are really all we're working with. We have the mother and the father, but even at the end credits is literally just the mom, the dad. Like they don't even have names. So, that's that. Music by Jim Williams, cinematography by Ruben Impens. And this was produced by hella companies. Like the production companies, it's about 5, 6 of them. I'm not gonna name them all, but it's a lot. You can look it up and just see if you're interested, my survivors. So when I do this behind the scenes section that we normally do, I know we like to keep it non-spoilery for you guys, but I'm gonna try my hardest to dance around this the best that I can. So just, hold on tight. If you've seen the movie, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. I guess if you have not seen the movie, just bear with me because you're probably gonna be lost as fuck, but it's fine. So this is a story basically about our main character, Justine, a vegetarian, becoming her true self, a meat eater. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So our director, she initially set out to make a film that spoke about a woman's place in the world. And this is her words. Our bodies as females, we're always either sexualized or we're there for the pleasure of men or like as a trophy. You know how they do us. And me
yep.
being I don't even know what the fuck to call myself right now. I guess I'm still I don't know what the fuck. in the pro cheer industry, and clearly you see how they treat us. So
can we not talk about that today, because I'm mad for you?
That might have been why this movie hit so hard with me, because of what's happening. And, you know, like John, they said, we're not going to talk about it. If you guys want to know, you literally can follow my Instagram, and 123, it'll click instantly. So back in regard to the movie, when it comes to how we feel about our bodies, and we talked about this in Teeth last week, nobody can relate to that but us, you know? And we even talk about, we can clearly tell when a man wrote something pertaining to a woman, most of the time, because sometimes they do a good job, and I'll give them that. But we can always tell a man wrote it, versus when a woman writes it, you can tell it comes from a place of understanding. So Julia wanted to give a different option. Like I'm saying, she never wanted Justine to be sexualized. We see this girl get rashes. We see her breaking out in cold sweats. Like, we see every type of bodily function that can dang near possibly happen to somebody happen to her. And most of the times, guys, or, you know, I could say women too, but from her lens, guys don't want to see that. Like, you know, half of them really think we don't shit. I still think that's crazy. Like, you know, it's so crazy how uncomfortable.
I think that that's ridiculous that
I
men
do
really think that
too.
women don't shit. Like, what do you, like, what?
Like, what do
Did you
you think
not
we
go
do?
to a health class?
Like, I really want to know the guys
I
that think that or have thought that. Like, what do you guys think that we do? Like, because I can't even think
don't
of
know.
anything. Right. Oh, okay. I
I can't
found out.
relate.
Her father is a dermatologist and her mom's a gynecologist. So that's
Okay.
why. Yeah. And I'm like, see, obviously you're not going to take a lot of this as over the top body horror, because you used to seeing this. Like, this is a normal day at the park for you. Justine's character was discussed between Garrett and Julia for an entire year before they started filming. Julia likes to compare Justine's character as a baby panther. And over the course of the movie, she starts to grow up a bit and comes from being that one that's crouching in the dark and behind everybody to the one that's in the forefront and standing tall. And I think that's a nice little metaphor to put it, because you can see that gradually happening throughout the movie, even with Justine's posture. Like, with her moving through certain scenes, you can see how timid she is, but towards the end, like, she's doing things on her own and getting shit done. Even sometimes having to put her feelings aside, which can be very hard.
Yeah. And I thought that that was actually, like, after I watched a lot of reviews on the movie, I
Mm-hmm.
did pick up on that, of how the director set it up where, like, you can see that transformation of her from being kind of like
Yeah.
that primal hunched
Mm-hmm.
over to like being erect and standing straight and all that.
Yeah. And there are two things, but the last one, I almost want to say for the review, because I think it'll make more sense in context, maybe. But the first one is, when she wrote this movie, Justine and Alexia were not sisters at first. So basically, it was literal.
That kind of makes sense.
They will see. Okay, stay with me real quick, because check this out, because it kind of took a left turn for me. They weren't sisters at first. She nixed the idea when she reread the script, and she was like, okay, this sounds like a I cannot pronounce that damn word. John, they say the word.
Sadomasochism.
Yes. She was she was saying it was giving that relationship. So in her culture where she's from, siblings have violent relationships. Like, I say this and I tease BJ all the time. He and his brother do
I
not
can't
argue.
relate.
They do not argue. I have never seen that. Like, me and my
I
sisters.
I well, I also can't relate to the arguing, because my brothers, we have a vast age difference.
We do too. My sisters was born in the 70s and 80s. And I will go tit for tat for them. I do not care. But it could be because you're the oldest, I'm the youngest.
And I think that's the case, because it's
That could
like,
be. Because I don't
they're
care. I'm going to say, what I'm gonna say, okay, you know what? I've gotten a lot better. I don't act on emotion anymore, but I'm still gonna say what I got to say. You gonna hear me
Like, what are
say.
they arguing with me? Like, what are they arguing with me
And
about?
yeah, I was about to say, so I guess, yeah, you got brothers. I got actual sisters. I don't argue with my brother. So yeah, that makes sense. But BJ and his brother do not argue at all. And I don't know, I just never seen, like, even over a chicken wing, like nothing, like somebody ain't get in the shower before somebody and got pissed. Like, no, okay.
Well, see, and here's the thing, like that just happened to me. I think Christian, I had my clothes in the washing machine, and Christian went and put his clothes on top of my clothes that were
Oh,
already
I hate
washed,
that.
and
I
then
hate
started the
that.
washing machine. And I got pissed and was yelling and stuff. But they don't yell back. And then,
Hold up.
yeah, it's not a thing. Now Caleb will yell back if he feels disrespected,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a thing.
Yeah.
They're very
That's kind of
loving.
scary. That's low key scary. Like, you better say something, like smack your lip or something.
I mean,
Uh,
Christian will look at you, but he won't, like, I don't know. He's very quiet. It takes
that's
him a while
scary.
to voice his it takes him a while to voice his opinion.
I'm joking though, but no, you know how I feel about the quiet ones. Like, bust a hee haw or something. Like, I don't know. Like, don't just be over there in the corner all quiet, looking crazy. Like, whew, that make
Nah,
me
he's
nervous.
one of the, like,
No,
I
your
don't
brother's
know.
chill, but
It
I'm
takes
talking about like other
Yeah, they
people
real
that's just
chill.
like, no, your brothers are chill. You know them type of people I'm talking about. Like, when we go out and people just go out by themselves and they just be in the corner, quiet,
Yeah,
watching.
I don't. If I'm about to be in the corner, I'm not gonna go nowhere. Y'all are weird.
You know. So my my last thing pertains to Adrian, because he has an interesting side story going here. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there now, so that way when we get into the movie, if there are some of you that might be a little bit unclear on his character, I think this will clear it up. Because I don't know, when I watched this movie, so much was clicking. Y'all already know what I was on when I was watching this movie. So yes, I was up there. And so much was just clicking in my head. Adrian, according to Julia too, and it tripped me out when I read the interview and all of my notes were valid by what she was saying. I just thought I was a genius. So Adrian is supposed to represent the audience. Most of the faces that Adrian makes in the movie, we're making too. Like, it's almost like Rod and Get Out. Like how he plays the audience, like we're yelling at the screen and he like, you shouldn't have went over there. Adrian is low key that person. She purposely put him in the alphabet gang because y'all know, if y'all new here, sometimes when I'm addressing LGBT
LGBTQIA plus.
yes, like I literally have to write it and read it. So I say alphabet gang. My nephew told me that this was okay for me to say. So welcome to the alphabet gang. That's what it is when I say it, because I will butcher anything else. If I'm in a serious setting, I can say it. But if I'm too excited, I'm going to butcher that shit. So she purposely put him she purposely put him in the alphabet gang because she did not want us to off top think that he was going to be sexualizing her throughout the movie. She also said that she knew that people will probably get an inkling that something might happen between them, but people will also be in the back of their head like, oh, well, he's gay, so maybe not. You never really know. She wanted their relationship to be one of those relationships where they're everything to each other. Like, they can be friends, they can be brother, sister. They can also, as we see, turn into something else. So while I'm holding water, you ready to bounce out to this cue line?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go, because I think you're going to have fun with this one.
Howdy, survivors. Please keep your tips and limbs inside the vehicle and remain seated at all times. Hang on to your personal belongings, especially your minds and spines, 'cause this here's a wild ride.
So I let Janae have a choice on what she wanted to play this week, because I actually had a game. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a quiz. We're doing a quiz. Can you tell which of these ridiculous college classes are real? Because I know y'all done heard that some of these institutions are implementing these different classes. And I'm gonna just say I'm a little mad because the coolest class that I had in school was this class where we read the book and then watched the movie. I had straight A's in that class, but I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want to say any classes and they actually happen to be on this quiz because Johnny hasn't seen this. So we're just gonna start. Which class is real? The Art of Walking, Cloud Watching 101, The Analysis of Gay Romance and Fan Fiction, The History of Catfishing. First of all these classes sound lit.
Okay, so I want to say the last two are real. Let's go with gay romance and fan fiction.
Okay, let's do it. Oh, damn, that's wrong. I felt like that was going to be right.
I do too.
Wrong. I just knew that was going to be right.
What was it?
The answer is The Art of Walking, available at the Center College in Danville, Kentucky.
The Art of Walking?
I mean, when you think about it, that sounds kind of lit because you can always tell what's going on. Not always, but you can somewhat tell what's going on with the person by the way they're walking. Like, are they rushing? Are they speed walking?
Do they have a disease?
Oh, wait, I don't know if we could tell that. Maybe with a limp. I don't know.
Yes, oh my gosh, no. Have you seen Bones?
The Snoop Dogg movie?
No, it's a show that was on TNT.
No, I haven't. I've heard of that. I've heard of that show, but I haven't seen it.
So the main character, she studies bones. Mm-hmm. And based off of how someone's bones were, like you're looking at their skeleton, you can tell like what they suffered with in life and how they probably walked in on that stuff too based off the wear and tear on their bones. And then also looking at people, she will look and say, hey, you got XYZ going on because the way you hold yourself. And the way you walk, you probably got one leg longer than the other. I was like, what in the world? But I can actually see that now that I think about it.
That sounds like one of our makeup artists named Jermaine. It's intimidating when she does your makeup because she'll look you in your eyes. And my rookie season, she looked me in my eyes. She was like, your eyes are white. That means you're healthy. And then she just kept doing my makeup. I was like, what the fuck?
That's the whole thing.
You know how creepy kids just come up to you and just say some weird shit and then walk away? That's how it felt. Which class is real? The Deconstruction of Riverdale, #Sophie class. Did you hear the second one?
Yes, but I'm like, the Deconstruction of Riverdale? Seriously?
Hey. Extreme Candle Making, The Sociology of Selena Gomez.
Extreme candle making.
Let's see. Ooh, oh, are you kidding me? That's wrong.
Was that right?
And you will never guess. No, you will never guess what the answer is.
Selena Gomez.
No.
Riverdale?
No.
What?
It's a class on taking selfies. And girl, oh my God, guess where it is?
Oh my God.
This course.
I mean, I would get it. I get it though, because it is a photography class, kind of, sort of.
Girl, it's available at University of Southern California, examining identity, including gender, race, and socioeconomic status in a selfie.
Yeah, it sounds like some USC shit.
That's why I said. That's why I was like, guess where this is at? First of all, that's why Sweetie takes bomb pictures. So she took that class, basically, is what you're telling me. So, all right, makes sense. Which class is real? First of all, they wrote this girl name wrong, but I'm gonna say it the right way. Deep Analysis of Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian's Marriage. How to Become YouTube Famous Instantly. Fame and the Beginning of Human Suffering. Kanye versus everybody.
Let's go with the YouTube.
The YouTube? That needs to be a class. Oh, wow. I should have fucking known. That is
Kanye
not correct. Everybody? And yes, it's Kanye versus everybody, girl, at Georgia State University. You can analyze easy. his intellectual stance, and an extreme sense of agency that arguably exemplify the critical perspective of our latest generation of public thinkers.
I'm annoyed.
Is it an elective or is it required? Because whose major is that? I want to know. Okay.
Psychology. Wait, say what say the description again?
Oh dang, I went past it. It's I think it's really it's assessing him, but it's also talking about how he influences the way some people think.
It might be psychology.
Could be.
Or sociology.
That makes sense. Those poor students. Which class is real? Pattern making for dog garments? Fidget spinners in the downfall of society?
Wait. Pattern making for what?
Dog garments.
Okay.
Fidget spinners in the downfall of society. Analysis of a good drinking buddy. Why me?
Wait.
The last one is literally why me?
Why me?
Why me?
I want to say fidget spinners.
Fidget spinners. You know what? I am going to riot if this is the answer. Okay? We going with this one? I'm about to pick it. Okay. You know what? You're gonna be pissed because you probably would have said this answer. It's wrong.
Why me?
No, it's pattern making for dog garments.
And I was gonna say that.
That's what I was like. I felt like you was gonna say that. It's at the Fashion Institute, which makes hella sense.
Because I've been over here. I've been crocheting for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I've been looking up all these different patterns and stuff. And I was thinking about crocheting dog stuff too. So I mean, it sounded legit.
Right, might as well. Okay. You know it's money in that. Okay, I think we got 2 more questions.
Hello.
Or no, 3 more questions. This is 5. Which class is real? How to befriend a lawyer? How to lose a guy in 10 days? Underwater wood carving? What if Harry Potter is real?
Underwater wood carving?
Girl, like, do you know how much money got to go into that damn class? If that's real. So much money would have to go into that. We would have to sign waivers, all of that.
Okay, you said underwater wood carving. If Harry Potter was real, what were the other 2?
How to befriend a lawyer, how to lose a guy in 10 days.
Why would there be a class after the movie?
Hey, it's classes after celebrities. I would not be surprised.
I want to say is Harry Potter real? Because the Harry Potter fans be a little OC sometimes.
Okay, let's see.
But I also feel like it can be how to befriend a lawyer. But let's go with Harry Potter.
Let me know. Okay. You're right.
See, I told you, Harry Potter fan.
This is at the Appalachian State University. So I wonder, do they have to pick like houses when they start the course? Do they have to like pick a house to belong to? I don't belong to any houses. I never was that tight.
You can take a test.
Like I literally read The Chamber of Secrets and that's it. That's the only book I've ever read. I've seen the movies, but as far as the books go, it's the only one I ever read.
I got up to 5, and then I think I tried to.
I know what that is. Like, what is that? Prisoner of Azkaban? Like, what is that?
No, baby, no.
See? I think, see, you said 5. Like, I just knew what that was.
I want to say Prisoner of Azkaban was like 3.
You about to look it up.
Yep, I was right. Prisoner of Azkaban was 3.
It's 3?
Yep, because I have 5. So I got up to the Order of the Phoenix, and then I like quit. But I didn't watch all the movies. I think I watched the first movie, and then after that I was like, eh. But I did read I read the first 5 books. There's 7.
I remember I literally only read the book because I went to a sleepover and all the girls there were reading the book and Harry Potter fans. And I was like, am I supposed to be into this? So I just like, okay, I guess I'll read this book.
And it was kind of weird too, because it was like my grandfather had bought me the book, and then my nana, my mom's mom, was all upset because this is a wizard book and witchcraft, and my mom was like, it's just a book. Like, leave her alone. No, she likes to read.
Right.
Just let her read.
I almost messed up the money. Which class is real? The danger of emo stereotypes.
What?
Demystifying the hipster. Why curse words are satisfying. Deep analysis of modern memes.
I feel like why curse words are satisfying is one, but I also feel like people are out here analyzing memes.
Probably. People be reaching, so I would.
So I'll go with memes.
I hope this is a class.
Maybe.
I hope it is. Wait, you let me know. I'm about to press it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hit the button. Kronk. Oh, damn. It's demystifying the hipster.
And I was thinking about that too, because at who?
Tufts University. TUFTS. It doesn't say, but it's a class where students will interrogate contemporary writing that claims to define the hipster, examining these arguments beside exemplary texts that have warranted the hipster label.
I guess.
Right, who is taking that? So this is the final question. Which class is real? The science of WikiHow articles, Shane Dawson conspiracy theories, how to
you
win
said ashamed what?
No, Shane Dawson.
Oh.
That kid. How to win a beauty pageant, and the history of frozen food.
I definitely feel like the history of frozen food is a class, especially if you're like culinary arts. There was another one that I heard. What were the other three?
The science.
No, Shane Dawson. I don't want to care about that one. What's the other one?
The science of WikiHow articles and how to win a beauty pageant, which we both have had some experience in.
Right. I feel like how to win a beauty pageant is one too. And it's kind of hard. Let's go with frozen foods.
Frozen foods? Okay, let's see. Oh, damn. We should have went with the beauty pageant. I just feel like... Right one? Okay, I don't know. Maybe
I know that's a class, though.
Huh. I feel like we don't need a class for that. I just feel like we get everything.
Well, I mean, if there's programs for trying to be a pro cheerleader, which we both were in, I'm pretty sure there's classes on how to win a beauty pageant. Now, like I didn't think there would be something.
And that's the crazy thing, because, the programs that we went through, I mean, yeah, some of them were paid, but this is like a college course.
Yeah, like I didn't think that it would be like a college level course, but I do think that exists. This must be a community college course.
It's offered at Oberlin College, and they said, ironically, it sounds like a WikiHow article, but they don't explain like what's all in the class, but that's just what it says. That was a fun quiz. Because I was ready for them to say the Beyonce. I thought they were going to talk about the Beyonce class, because they definitely had the picture of Beyonce on the thing, because that's a class. I don't know where, but I know, right? I've been holding it for a long time. I'm ready to talk about this movie. But this trailer, since it is French, the movie is in French. We didn't say that in the beginning, but yes, the entire movie is in French, so you're watching it with subtitles, unless you're fluent and you can just understand what they're saying. Claps for you. Because of that, the trailer has no words. So instead, I'm going to be playing the song from the mirror scene, because I fuck with that song a lot.
Girl.
I looked up the words in English. I like everything that they talking about. And I'm going to plug the song in the bio at the bottom. You said which song?
I was about to say, you didn't see the words on the screen. I was looking at the words on the screen.
Oh, no, I did.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I saw the words on the screen. But then, like, after the movie, I'm not going to hold you, I downloaded the song. enjoy this little tune, because when we come back, we getting all up in this bitch. We finna get real raw, okay?
Première leçon, séduction, être une pute avec éducation, se moquer des garçons, préférer l'équitation, s'amuser de la fellation, censurer l'appellation et assurer pendant l'action. Assis psy truc et phéronome, faire grimper le métronome, 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Déplie mon âme, je vais te faire du bien, tu vas m'adorer. Quand je te ferai du mal, tu vas savourer. Entre nous, ça va pas durer, c'est de ta faute, t'étais trop laid. Pour la nuit de noces, je vais te noyer dans ma piscine. Je boufferai tes os, tu t'étoufferas à la cyprine. Chérie, va faire du sport, tu feras un joli cadavre. Je pratique le sexe après la mort, connard. Je te préfère dur et froid, t'es moins bavard. Je pratique le sexe après la mort, le sexe après la mort. Je pratique le sexe après la mort, le sexe après la mort. La drogue me dit bibi, chouchou, je t'aime que pour le milli. Ici mon nom c'est Dolly, nichon neuro, je suis trop girly. Goûte au poison, tous mes gris-gris, je te défonce même si t'es jolie. Mon cœur coco c'est pas cochon, ça t'ambiance toujours dans mon lit. Mec et moi ça fait 0 pochon, plus pas égal, well love me. On veut pas faire du porno mais on te baise avec un god me. Si je dis langue tu penses qu'unique, quand je dis en tas tu penses money. Je préfère la coke en 1000 grammes plutôt qu'un bisou de ton ami. Gagner des thunes petit en la du cimetière, oh oui le seigneur des ténèbres sur mon cœur, un tatouage chauve-souris. Danse devant moi, si, la fille de Chuck ici, si je m'en fous du 69, je veux juste du 666, Je m'en fous du 69, je veux juste du 666. Je m'en fous du 69, je veux juste du 666,
So as we said earlier, this trailer has no words. It's nothing but the music and scenes from the movie, obviously. This trailer, I know she said what she said, and we said we was gonna respect her, but the trailer gives horror. I'm sorry, boo. I'm so sorry, Julia. It just does.
It does. It does.
Yeah, it does a good job of not exactly. It's more of like a what the fuck is this happening? Yeah, it doesn't really like explain anything, which, you know, we like that. But baby, yeah. And I'm just saying, like I said in the beginning, like I know you didn't intend for it to be that way, but shit, at this point, just own it, because I'm going to just say this now. I was going to save this for the end, but you might as well go ahead and redo Teeth for us. Go ahead. Because she got it. We can have a female that's running the game in body horror. Like right now, David Cronenberg, he is the king of that shit. We can have a woman come be queen. Like, girl, yes, you might as well come get your coins, because I'm just saying horror fans are loyal fans. You know, sometimes we get a little pissed off when shit just don't make sense, but we're a lot more forgiving than, you know, some of my friends that are into action movies, namely the MCU and DC fans. Like, I'm not going to call them all out, but, you know.
Wait, what we calling out? What we calling out?
Not you. I can say how they recasted, what's the name, with Terrence Howard. I was looking like, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I said, wait a minute.
Kind of, no.
But it's like, see, I understand that. Y'all had a reason to be upset about that. But, you know, Jason got replaced 26,000 times, and, you know, people still love him. It's cool. Nobody could ever be Freddy, and that's been proven. But you know what? We're going to talk about this movie. We're not going to talk about everything right now. Okay.
Because it was kind of like they did like an
hold on, wait a minute. John, they was holding this in. I'm going to let her get it out. She done sat on this.
No, because it was kind of like they did an Aunt Viv.
Girl, like we wasn't going to notice.
It's like, okay, it's okay if you kill off a character and never to be seen again because you know, I don't know, y'all fell out behind the scenes with the actor and the production company or whatever. Cool. But like when you just switch people up, it's like, okay, why?
Right. Whatever. At least like we know that Fresh Prince like called it out themselves, but still, like damn. But Attention survivors, from this point on, spoilers will be dropped. If you'd like to skip to the queue line, please refer to the timestamps below. See you on the other side. The movie starts, it's just a shot of the road, and we're gonna get a lot of beautiful wide shots, but I'll gush about those at the end of the movie. So an unidentified person is walking along the road until a car appears. Then that same person who is now hiding darts out into the street, causing the car to run into a tree. And, they're laid out in the road. Moments later, the person just gets off, dusts themselves off, and heads towards the car. And we jump to the looming title card, which was definitely giving me Insidious vibes without the loud ass violins. And that's it. That's our opening scene.
Yeah, I was confused as hell about that.
Exactly.
But I really liked a lot of violins and Insidious.
That shit's scary. You know how I always talk about with movies, I don't mind jump scares, but don't tell me I'm supposed to be scared. However, with Insidious, I'm fine with that because you're not expecting that to happen in the title card. And then they get cocky and do it twice. And guess I jumped twice. So you're welcome, Insidious. I gave you what you want. Now we meet Justine, who is on her way to school with her parents. So they stop at a diner, and while she's eating her mashed potatoes, a chunk of meat has gotten in there somehow. First of all, they did a great job of making me trying to figure out what the fuck type of meat was this, because I thought it was a hot dog,
yeah,
but then it didn't look like a... Yeah, and it's like, why am I even focused on that? Yeah. Even on this scene, we're seeing the beginning of Justine's, I don't know if I want to say naive, because, it is naive, but it's her parents' fault, obviously. But we're starting to see how shy and timid she is. Like, she wasn't even about to make a big deal over the meat. Yeah, she was gagging, but she was just going to, spit it out and go about her business. It's her mom that gets upset and goes to rectify the situation. So as Justine and her father are talking, he's offering up his plate to her. We overhear the mom cussing somebody out in the back. And this is where we learn that the entire family is vegetarian, and they're serious vegetarians. Another car ride. Are you that anal about it?
No, I'm not going to curse somebody out for having meat in my food. Like, I'll say, y'all put chicken in this, can you take this bag? But if it's like fast food restaurant, and like I go to Panera sometimes and I'll ask for a salad without chicken, and then I get home and realize they put chicken in it, I'll just pluck it out. But I'm not like super anal about it.
I don't like chicken in my salads at all. I always tell them I don't like meat. Only meat I'm fine with in my salad is shrimp. And even then, like, as of, I think it's been a minute since I even did that. Like, I don't know. I just don't like it up in there. I don't know.
But me, for the longest time, I was vegetarian, but I started eating seafood again. Right. Sparingly. So. Mm-hmm.
Another car ride leads Justine to being dropped off at college, veterinarian school to be exact. It's a family tradition, as we learn. And Justine's sister, Alexia, goes here as well. But, the family can't get a hold of her. It was a lot of people pointing out how they didn't like how Justine's parents just left her in the parking lot. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she was packed and everything. She just had one bag to take up. Like, I'm not being funny. I feel like my parents did that to me. Like, after they packed all my things up in my room, like, we walked to the parking lot. I had one more bag. And I just walked in the building. Yeah, but then it's almost, when you think of I was just going to say, when you think of the sense of the entire movie, it makes sense why they did that.
I was going to say, I didn't really care about the fact that her parents ain't so, like, her parents left her. That was just like, okay, whatever. I was like, where the fuck her sister at?
Right. You just in a whole new world, don't know. But, even that, we learn why she didn't show up later. At the same time, the mom in the entire scene, when she's freaking out over Alexis not being there, she even says that she doesn't want to leave Justine there. But it's the dad that's like, okay, y'all know we got to go. He's even lighting his cigarette. Like, it'll all make sense in a few minutes, but it'll all make sense. Kissing her parents ta-ta for now, Justine is left to experience life without parental control, aka college for some people.
So at first I thought I had missed something because I was so confused as to where she was getting dropped off to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, did I miss the fact that she's at college?
It is like to be fair, the parking lot is bare. There's barely any cars there, if any. Now that I
was
about
so
it.
confused because it was like, okay, there's the hospital, there's the whatever, and then she was like, I feel lost already. But I was so confused at the fact that she was being dropped off at college.
Yeah.
Then when she got dropped off and on like the scenes unfold later on, I didn't realize that she was at vet school until they said that they were at vet school, and I was like, oh, okay, because I was confused for like the first however many minutes of the movie.
Well, I'll bring that back around later. So, what do you do on your first night of college and you're on your own? You sleep, right? Nah, bitch. Psych. Justine is woken by loud voices nearing her dorm, and she also finds out her request for a roommate wasn't granted as fellow freshman Adrian tells her he's, he a part of Alphabet Gang. So she requested a girl, didn't get a girl. We got bigger fish to fry right now because now the elders, or great ones, as we will learn they want to be called, rush the room. They ripping up. Everything is going to town. But before that happens, Adrian gives Justine a ski pole, and he gives it to her because of what's about to happen. I don't know what the fuck he thought she was going to do with that at that moment. But, I would be so pissed if these people came in my room and just was flipping my shit. Like, they throw their mattresses out the window. And I understand this is a hazing school. And apparently, from some research that I was doing, this was shot in Belgium. And a lot of the institutions there are smaller ones. Because even later, when we see the class photos, we see that it's only like less than 40 people in the class. So,
yeah.
So as Justine is thrown outside with the rest of the students, one student tries to reside back to his room until one of the elders call him out, putting him back in his place before leading the rookies to freedom. That part took me out.
Oh my God.
I really wanted somebody to just scream that. I just kept screaming that, and that part had me dead. Because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? The girl, it's a girl. You know how I do. I'm always noticing people in the back. There's a girl in the pink shirt in this scene that has me dead because she is so into her role, looking dazed and confused like she just woke up. But I damn near believe her. Like, I know that she wasn't just sleep in her room, but I believe her. I also like the shots of them walking down the stairs and into the elevator, and the creepiness of this next shot that we're about to get into. You can't really tell where the fuck they're at, but it's dark, and it's only like 2 fluorescent lights. Hella cement. It's so low down that it has to be like a passage to something, but all the rookies are crawling like on all 4s through this bitch. There's also a drop-off point. Yeah, so there's a drop-off point, and depending on what you're watching on and what type of setting you're watching on, you don't really notice it at first. So you just like, wait, they disappear and then come back, but as more come, you realize it's like a drop-off or whatever. So eventually, the rookies, still on all 4s, herd together in front of a couple elders who soon open a sliding door, revealing this raging-ass party, rushing all the rookies inside. Check this out. These kids are still in whatever the hell they had on. So it's just kids in their underwear. Niggas ain't got shirts on. Niggas ain't got shoes on. Like, it's literally come as you are.
Anything but clothes, almost.
Okay, and then, you know what? Don't laugh. But I low-key thought Black and Gold was about to start playing, but it literally took 2 seconds for me to realize that it wasn't Black and Gold. But I was like, oh, wait, we doing this?
Oh, my gosh.
Because it's the beginning. You know how the beginning of the song go. And I was like, whoa, okay. But it definitely was not that. So we're in the party. Janae, there are 300 extras in this scene. They shot this scene 10 times, and they got 2 perfect takes. Yeah, I mean, you know how, like, you gotta, but when you think about it, it's so much going on in this party. Like, I like
It
how, I'll
really
just
is.
start from the top.
It's like
I
Project
love
X.
how, yeah. But see, when you watch the choreography of it, when we go in, we not even with Justine. We with some other people. Like, she literally gets tossed into the mix. But when you think about it, that's what the fuck this movie is about. Like, she's literally just getting tossed into this shit, and she just has to navigate and figure out what the hell is going on. As she's doing this, but not metaphorically, literally making her way through the party, we seeing all types of stuff. It's dancing, of course, people making out, it's pill popping, it's water guns, it's crowd surfing, mooning, all types of shit. She even runs into Adrian.
Listen, he talking about when you're first coming into a party or whatever, and like they taking pictures. He talking about some slutted up girls. Sir, what?
Yes, with the boobs. And then it's funny because his hat says "what the fuck," and it's exactly what you're thinking. They do that a second time in this movie too. But I'm just like, damn, like whoever the style design for this movie, like everybody was smart. Everybody had on their thinking caps in this movie. So when she runs into Adrian, literally on eye contact, he slobs down his little friend. They never say his name, so I can only be a Black mom and say his little friend. I'm sorry. Turning back towards the other direction, there's a beautiful smoke transition. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate being super literal, but this scene is just so perfect. And it's crazy because when people who direct and they write, stuff looks good on paper, but then when you got to do it, like when we choreograph stuff for people, stuff look good in our head. And then when we teach it to somebody, we be like, oh shit, this ain't gonna work. We got to change stuff around. But all of this plays out so well. So anyway, eventually Justine finds her sister throwing that thing, and you already know she team fuck your couch. I know she a good party person. I already know. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I'm definitely not partying with her.
Listen, I'm not partying with any of them.
Okay. There's a Black guy standing next to our sisters that are, they're greeting each other. I'll get to that in a second. But once again, he was so into his role. But then I realized the girl in front of him was naked. I was like, oh shit. But
yeah, there was a whole bunch of nudity going on.
A whole bunch. But interestingly enough, she wanted it like that. She was like, I'm the type of person that when I watch movies, sometimes I'm not even paying attention to what's supposed to be happening. And I'm looking at extras in the background, and I'll catch them like doing things that they wouldn't normally do. They're overacting or da-da-da-da-da. She literally went around that room with those 300 extras and was like telling all of them what they need to be doing at this moment and da-da-da-da-da. And it worked so well. Oh, I can't get over it. But anyway.
I missed like a whole thing that you said because my audio cut out. I don't know what happened.
It's okay. It's fine. I was just gushing over the movie because it did say on my end what happened, but it's fine. No, you don't have to respond. I was just gushing.
Okay.
The sisters are greeting each other, and I love this line when Alexia is like, "Is my thong out my shorts?" And Justine just checks her. It's like the equivalent of when we get up and we be like, "Can you check me?" That's what I thought of. So the sisters, after they greet each other, they make their way out to get some fresh air. And I'm just like, well, no shit. You just spun around in like 10 circles while you were greeting each other. Of course you're dizzy, silly. And then even more lit, Alexia brought her dog to the party. I'm like, first of all, that dog
I was looking at that like, why is your dog
That
here?
dog was probably like, why
so
do you get weird? Girl, damn. There's a lamb that's hanging from the ceiling. And at first when I saw it, I just thought I was doing the most by overanalyzing. But lambs pop up like 2 or 3 times in this movie. And I kind of think they mean something, but they probably don't. But anyway, I think maybe like something about innocence, because one is covered in blood. And then the next one we see is like clean. And then I can't remember where the other one is. It'll probably pop up in my notes. But speaking of animals, the sisters and the pup make their way to a dark place, which turns out to be like a storage area filled with embalmed animals, which makes sense because, they're at a veterinary school. The pair continue through, and this is where I brought it up earlier. Alexia is showing Justine her parents' class photos. And not only do we find out that the parents went there, which they kind of alluded to earlier, when they pulled up to the school, the mom is like, oh, the place looks a little shabbier. And the dad says something. So, you know, if you kind of not listening or paying attention, you might not think about it, but they tell you again, like, yeah, they went through all this stuff too. And Alexia is telling her, like, basically, when you go through this, you know, you're going to be happy that you did it. And Justine notices that there are some people that they like, you know, their faces is blacked out. So why is that, sis? And she was like, oh, well, they're traitors. They refused initiation. So don't do that. She drives her point further when Justine tries to turn in for the night. And Alexia is like, no, sis, y'all can't fall asleep before the elders. So, you know, let's go party. Finally back in her room, laid on a box spring, because remember, these motherfuckers threw their mattresses out. She thinks she's going to catch some Z's until she hears Adrian bringing someone home for the night or morning, whichever. Later that day, the rookies watch as a horse is giving a shot of Special K, or ketamine, for those who don't know what that is. It's basically a medication that, you know, is used for starting and maintaining anesthesia, or a horse tranquilizer or whatever. This scene, when I first watched it, I wasn't sure where they were going with this, but later I'm understanding what happened. So when you watch Justine, she's like, what the fuck is happening? I don't know if she knew that this, you know how some people get into stuff and they aren't really prepared for what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if she thought she was just going to be working with cats and dogs, but, you know, we see later that she genuinely cares for animals. She looks at animals as if they are humans, which a lot of us do, but I think that's what that scene was for. It was supposed to, like, show you her empathy towards animals.
Shoot, I was confused as to what the heck they was doing with that horse.
I just think, yeah, I just think it was just supposed to show that. But I was thinking that too. Like, I was like, is this going to come back later? But yeah, that's what I figured out it was for. The rookies watch as the vets come through with a little vet fight song, rah, rah, concluding with the rookies being drenched in blood, calling Carrie to the front as they take their 71st graduating class photo. I would try to say the school's name. I wrote it down, but I am not even going to try to butcher that name. So the elder ones, that's all I can call them. They don't give them names. One of them in particular is basically walking the rookies through initiation, telling them how Rush Week is going to go. And I was cracking up at this part because he's really trying his hardest to be so intimidating. And it's crazy because when you come into a situation where you're a first year person, but then you're a vet and you realize like this shit ain't that serious. Like it is, but it's not. Like, you know how some people that really just take shit too serious? This is him. But I was dead when he was like, Saucy. And he was talking to the dude, telling him to ring the alarm, and he ain't do it. I don't know if it was broke. I don't know what the problem was, but that had me cracking up. But anyway, the point is, when they hear these 3 horns, that's supposed to signify that the initiation is over. Jumping off their rush week, Justine and Adrian make their way to this desk where they're giving the rookies a drink and a piece of raw rabbit kidney. Justine is instantly like, no, I can't eat this. I'm a vegetarian. You could call my sister. She could vouch for me, who's also a vegetarian. Well, apparently, Alexia, I just call her Alexis, but it's fine. Alexia is not vegetarian anymore. Remember earlier, Alexia told Justine, you know, don't be refusing initiation. You don't want to, it looks bad. Don't do it. This leads Alexia to force feed poor Juju the raw rabbit kidney. I was like, then you can just see on her face that she did not want to eat that. I felt so bad. And at least
I wouldn't want to eat it either.
I don't know. I always say I want to be on Fear Factor, but that's a raw rabbit kidney. And I also want to know if Jordan Peele has seen this movie, because I just want to know what he would think about that, because you know he's scared of rabbits. So I'm just curious. But anyway, at least she waits till she like walks away from the table to gag. Some type of dignity. But anyway, in the next scene, we get a conversation from one of the students who's talking about how AIDS started. And it kind of triggers Adrian a little bit, and you can tell. But this is also where, once again, Justine is talking about how humans and animals relate. She's basically comparing if a monkey is raped, he probably feels, or she probably feels the same way as if a woman were raped. And there's a student that doesn't quite understand what she's saying. I don't know if she was just being an asshole, because I was like, I mean, all she's saying is animals have feelings. Like, that's all she said. Like, she's not wrong. We have dogs, we have pets. We can clearly see that they have feelings. Like, you know.
Yeah, I see both sides of the situation. Like, yes, she's saying that animals have feelings, but then the other girl took it as, so are you trying to say that women or monkeys are the same?
Yeah, and I saw that part, but I'm like, girl, you knew what she was trying to do. Then we move on to in class where Adrian is trying to cheat off her paper, and this professor was pissing me off. Apparently, there's a professor that does not like our little Juju just because she's smart. I'm like, are you really belittling this woman because she's a straight A student, saying like she makes it hard for other people by intimidating them? I'm like, boy, get off some tip and go grade a paper. Like, and it pissed me off when he was fucking with her, like, oh, you got one wrong on the first page, and then doesn't tell her. Like, I mean, I know she turned her paper in, but don't do that then. Don't tell me I got something wrong in front of me, you dick. She should have ate him, now that I think about it. Probably tastes like shit, but she just should have did it. So that night, trying to sleep, Justine, I didn't mention this earlier, but when Adrian was trying to cheat off her paper, Justine was like scratching her hand. But you know, you taking a test, people have their nervous tics. You probably ain't think twice about it. So that little itch she had, it spread throughout her whole body. Like, it looks fucking crazy. So she's looking at the infection and she's scratching the fuck out of it. And I know that shit itches and burns because she's blowing on it. So you already know how that feels. Like, if you got to blow while you scratch, that's some serious shit. So she bears the pain through the night until she's able to go to the school nurse the next day.
Her scratching like that made my skin crawl. I couldn't deal.
And I can only imagine, because, you know, sometimes I like to have stupid long nails, which helps when I'm trying to scratch in, you know, my back area or things like that. They don't scratch like actual fingernails. So sometimes it's a little frustrating. But this was her actual nail. So I know she was digging into that shit. Here we get a scene of a horse running on a treadmill. I don't think it's really supposed to be anything. I honestly just think that's them saying, yeah, here's a horse on a treadmill. I mean, if it means anything, it's probably a metaphor for Justine picking herself up after a long day. I don't fucking know. Take it as you will. Meanwhile, at the nurse's office, she's peeling off Justine's dead skin. And I don't know what intrigued me about this, but I guess because I'm always watching people getting their ingrown hair pulled or pimple popping videos or earwax removal videos, that this was just like, it was certain ones I wanted her to pull that she wasn't pulling. It was pissing me off.
Ew.
Kind of like when you watch pimple popping videos and it's that one bump that
I didn't watch pimple popping videos.
Johnny, this is for my survivors. If somebody is agreeing with me, I love you. I love you. We can share popping videos with me. Send them to D180. Johnny, don't open the message. Can you imagine if Johnny gets on the page and she opens one of you guys' DMs and it's like pimple popping videos? Oh, the ear extraction ones, those are the ones. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway. The nurse sets her up, basically tells her that she has food poisoning from the raw rabbit kidney. We also find out that our Juju is a virgin. That's been a thing.
The nurse pissed me off because what does being pregnant have to do with your skin peeling? Like, she was asking her all those questions like, when's your last period?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have sex? Right, you didn't have sex. Like, what does being pregnant have to do with skin peeling? And that pissed me off about doctors. Because I can come in here saying my finger chopped off. And when was your last period? Are you sure you're not pregnant? What does that have to do with my finger being chopped off?
I was thinking that she was going to go more the STD route. maybe that's what I thought. I wasn't thinking pregnant, but that's an interesting perspective. But no, I do feel that because I hate when they ask me that too. I know I feel like they gotta ask you the period question for whatever reason, but I'm just like, dude, like you're making me pee in the cup anyway, so you're about to tell
Well,
me.
no, that's why. Yeah, I didn't think that it was anything like trying to say that she was pregnant. I just hate the fact that when you go to the doctor for specific reasons, like my skin is fucking peeling. Oh, when was your last period? Oh, are you sexually active? What does that have to do with my skin peeling? And what STD makes your skin peel like that? That triggered something in me.
No, it's like I feel it. It's like doctor appointments are already like unnerving and annoying already, but it's just like now I gotta sit here and answer these questions that I low-key feel like you should probably know. But anyway, the nurse sets her up with some instructions and some cream and sends her on her way. So, but also before she does that, the nurse gives a story that pretty much explains the entire movie. And it's almost like it's easy to just be like, all right, whatever she's talking about. But if you listen to what she's saying, she's talking about a former patient that was overweight and that had been bounced between different nurses who claimed that they couldn't inject her because she had so much meat around her arm. And basically when she found this nurse that we're dealing with now, the nurse didn't have that problem because the nurse basically just saw her as a person and wasn't treating her how everybody else was treating her. So basically it's supposed to say that be yourself, you know, always. It's supposed to be like a be yourself thing in spite of what society thinks of you. Because she says something to Justine like, well, why did you eat the raw rabbit? Like they didn't force you to do it. But my thing is, y'all all at this school, so y'all know they do this. So why y'all keep asking this girl why she did it?
And not only that, why y'all letting this shit happen?
Well, see, that's why I said, like, I think that's a podcast I listened to. He has a girlfriend that goes to school out there. Apparently, this is real. They actually do this shit. I don't know if the whole raw rabbit thing is real, but like the hazing is real. Like they really go hard on them. And because, as I said earlier, the admission, the classes are usually small, so they can kind of like just get away with it, kind of. Justine's walking down the hall where she makes eye contact with an elder that calls her out for being out of dress code. Apparently, the dress code was nightclub. And you can see that in this scene when we walk past some of the students, some of them are in their white coats. Some of them are like dressed to the nine, but it's kind of like, okay, whatever. But since she didn't get the memo, and, you know, like we said, she's a sheltered girl, like, you see what type of clothes she's been wearing. She doesn't have clothes like that. But since she doesn't, she has to wear this huge ass diaper around for the rest of the day, like a depend.
Because she's a big baby.
I know, poor girl. In Alexia's room, Big Sis is looking for some clothes to give our Juju. As the girls begin to argue over the situation with the raw rabbit kidney, Alexia is saying that, you know, she was only trying to help. She wasn't trying to let her sister be a reject. After Justine insults her over her handwriting, Alexia lets her try on the dress and then quickly throws her and all her shit out. Like, this is pretty interesting. And I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I don't got to say this for the end. It'll give me less to say. Apparently, I'll save it. It'll make sense later. Justine wobbles through the campus. Poor thing. Justine wobbles through the campus in these heels, and everybody's just staring at her. And eventually, she makes it to her mattress that's still outside and struggles to pull it up the stairs. First of all, baby, you fucked up when you didn't take them heels off. That's the first thing you should have did instead of trying to carry him up the stairs with the heels on. Just saying. Anyway, she tries to go ask Adrian for help, but he's busy getting waxed at the moment. So you know,
that dude's head was too high to be sucking dick. Those inaccuracies in movies bother me. Like, we get what he's supposed to be doing, but his head too high.
Look, listen. Speaking of listen, Justine just listens outside the door, and then we cut to our next scene, which is later at lunch. she's caught stealing a burger patty, but she doesn't exactly explain why she did it. What ends up happening is Justine tells Adrian that she wants to try meat. He knows she's a vegetarian, but what are friends for? So on the way to this little ducked off place they're going to, because she doesn't want nobody to know that she's eating it. So that's why they decide to, take a bus to a little ducked off place. On the way there, they pass an accident and it's on the same road as the beginning, but this is a different car. The slowness of this scene is so accurate because anytime you go past an accident, even though I get pissed when people do this, you slow down and you just have to see like what the fuck happened. And I feel like this scene captured that whole little moment perfectly, even though it's just Justine looking at the accident more than anybody else. Is still on point. So while they're at this little gas station, Juju is cutting up on some shawarma, and I honestly thought of The Sims. Because that's one of the dishes that they make on there. A lot of this movie made me think of Sims, and I'm going to call it out. But anyway, if you don't know what shawarma is, it's a Middle Eastern dish that's, it's meat cut into small slices. Sometimes it's in a cone. That's basically what it is. It can be, usually, I guess it's lamb. But you know how they do stuff these days. You can make anything into what you want it to be. So sometimes it's chicken, turkey, whatever. Then this guy comes out of fucking nowhere and is making Adrian so uncomfortable, just feeling on him while he's talking to them, like saying, I know you guys, well, not that he knows, but, asking them, are they students at the school? Why are they here? I'm like, guy, why are you touching him? And you can tell that Adrian is just so uncomfortable. I'm like, poor baby. But anyway, one thing I noticed.
I would have told him to get his fucking hands off of me.
Same. Because I'm like, you're in a public spot. So it's, stuff can pop off, but you're in a public spot. So, one thing I noticed in this scene, wasn't she eating a sandwich? How did she end up with a kebab?
I think she took his food out of his hand.
Oh, did not see that. And then I was thinking maybe she just took the bread off because I would do some shit like that too. But I was just like, I could have sworn. And even like the second time I watched it, I was looking at it specifically because I was curious, but I wasn't thinking too much of it. I was just really curious, like, did I miss something? Like, but anyway, she fucking it up. And Adrian, as I said earlier, he's the audience. We all looking like, damn, because, when you don't eat meat for a long period of time and then you do eat meat, you got to ease into that shit. You can't just go head first. She's going to town. Like,
but she's also never had it, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, like when you do, like how she had the reaction to the raw kidney meat. I would just feel like, even though, okay, we know what this is now, but I feel like in real life, people ease themselves back into eating it because you don't know, like, what's going to happen. Like, I know personally when I would have to do the Daniel fast for church, like, when it was over, I couldn't just jump right back into it. It took me, like, a few days to...
Oh, nah, I would jump back in head first.
No. Early morning comes and Adrian walks in on Justine in front of the mini fridge. She tells him that she's getting milk for cereal after he questions why she's in the fridge. But, I'm like, maybe she's thirsty, So anyway, he leaves, and as soon as the door closes, Sis pulls out a cutlet of raw chicken and bites into it like it's the best thing in the world. And poor thing, luckily it was made out of sugar, but it actually gave her an aversion to, like, gummy candies. Like, she does not want to eat that shit anymore. In real life, not in movie life. I'm like, that's kind of fucked up, because I just feel like... I also heard that when they shot this scene, that it kind of made her sick, because apparently, obviously, in your mind... Like, okay, how it was that thing during the pandemic when people was making everything into a dang cake? And you really didn't know if it was real or if it was a cake.
Barely.
It was like literally, oh my God, they was making iPhone cases, all types of shit, John May. Like, oh my God, it was crazy. Everything was a damn cake. And it was like, they made like a steak that was a cake. It was too much. It was too much. Anyway.
Did you see there was something going viral on Facebook last week or the week before where it was a man in the hospital bed, but it turns out he was cake?
What the fuck?
I have to find that post and send it to you. Like, he's in the hospital bed and he's smiling and shit, and you think he's real, but he's actually cake.
Somebody needs that hospital bed. Y'all are wasting space. Like, didn't we not just... Okay, anyway. Anyway. Following this, she's caught to have been cheating on her previous test. Once again, is by that rude-ass teacher. Got this poor baby stress-eating her hair, saying he'd rather see her rank drop versus Adrian's because she's a top student. He cheated off her. Anyway.
I didn't like that guy.
I hated him.
I also didn't like the fact that she was stressed eating her hair. That was weird.
I think it was because, at this point, she's figuring out that she got a taste for meat. So on top of nerves, I think this was one form in the movie of her like kind of going through a withdrawal. That's kind of what I was getting. But she ends up releasing all this tension by, oh my God, she goes to the toilet and hacks up the longest piece of hair I have ever seen in my life. And it is, if you don't like vomit, if you don't like gagging, it's going to make you turn away. Like, usually when you first see this scene, you'll probably think of movies like The Ring, or I think this also happens in The Grudge in some type of form. I know Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, has a scene like this where he's pulling it from his eye. But this one is long. Like, but I'm pretty sure, as we learn later, shout out to all our friendly bathroom honeys. When Juju comes out the bathroom, a girl just comes to her, and it's like 2 fingers make it come up better. And then she just goes on to check herself out in the mirror. Just
casually giving out how to throw up advice in the bathroom.
Yeah, and then as you see, because obviously she had just got done doing the same thing, because she looks in the mirror and like she's just dressing up herself, seeing how she looks to other people. So I'm just like, so Justine finds her sister in some deep shit, literally. I don't even know how to tell you guys what she's doing because I can't figure out the name. I've seen this all the time on like the Animal
Cavity Check.
Yeah, thank you. That's basically what she's doing. So, she's arm deep in some shit right now. But they go off
literally arm deep.
They go off to talk on the rooftop. They get drunk as Alexia tells college stories, one in particular involving this fling she had with a guy who she didn't know had one arm. But eventually, Justine asks her if she thinks she's weird. And Alexia claims that title, honey. She's like, okay, and I can prove it to you right now. Homegirl stands up and projectile pisses. And I like this scene because it's like just subtle bonding. First of all, it was just like, well, how the fuck did you even learn that you could do that?
Years of playing softball and not having no bathroom.
I guess so. Squat. But Justine tries to do it.
Because when you try to squat, it's a you get a little dribble. Trust me, I had to do that in the woods playing softball as a child. So
I squatted a few times, but I don't know. I just white stance and shake it a little bit when I get done, and it's going about my business. But when Justine tries, she ends up just getting pissed literally all over herself. I mean, like, they're drunk. Like, she done damn near fell in the shit. So anyway, they end up having a sleepover at Alexia's house or her room, whatever. While they're getting ready for bed, Juju's nosy butt finds the same cream that she got from the nurse in Alexia's med cabinet, quickly putting it back as Alexia joins her to brush their teeth. Big sister notices that little sis has not been introduced to the world of women's maintenance. She doesn't even know what a Brazilian is. So what do you do when your little sister has never had a Brazilian before? You give her one. First of all, let's pause real quick. My first Brazilian was an experience. honey, I'm gonna keep this short. My sister Samantha, which is normally the sister that I always try adventurous things with, took me for my first Brazilian. We went to a spa, right? It's incense. It's like this spa is to the nine. I'm nervous. I get my wax done. Okay, I'm like, okay, it's not too bad. Because I was so nervous and all of those nerves were just in my body, you know, they had to release at some point. So I'm in the room while my sister is getting hers after me, and the incense and all of that is just getting to me. Girl, why did I go in that bathroom and throw up? And number two, simultaneously, like I was literally switching between pooping and vomiting because my nerves were so fucked up. I had to go outside for some air. And that was my story of my first Brazilian.
What?
Like, girl, I thought I was going to die that day. like, I don't know. I don't know. I think I just hyped myself up thinking like this was going to be like the movies or something. I don't fucking know. But my next thing is, why do dogs always want to sniff our vaginas and panties? Like, is it the pheromones? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. So anyway, Alexia's giving her sister a basic bikini.
Oh, wait.
Wax.
I didn't tell you. Were you my friend on Snapchat maybe like a year or two ago when my aunt's dog ate the crotch out of my panties?
One of my dogs used to do that, and I hated that. I hated that. Every day in our laundry room, we would just find somebody's undies on the ground with little holes, and they used to piss me off.
The whole crotch was gone, and I thought the dog was going to die.
Ooh, you just going to kill the dog? Or you thought that?
I thought the dog was going to die because it like digested the crotch of my panties.
It's probably just going to come out.
It came out a couple of days later, but
yeah. Justine cannot. And this is just a bikini wax. This isn't even a full Brazilian, which my ladies, if y'all get Brazilians, y'all know which part hurts the most. It is not the bikini line, okay? But anyway.
It's the labia.
Say it, but go ahead.
I'm going to say it. It's the labia, okay? You out there about to punch the lady in her face.
Oh, girl, I just be like, okay. I'm like, come on, Melody, just do it, okay? No, first of all, Melody, okay, I'm going to get back to the story, but Melody pissed me off one day because she Brazilian waxed me in 7 minutes and 23 seconds. And I'm like, bitch, where are we going? What you rushing for? I'm on fire.
She had things to do.
She really did. Okay, damn. Anyway. Because our good sis just cannot take this pain, you know, she gets about maybe like good 2 strips off. So Alexia, she's getting, you know, when you figure out that you might be kind of good at something, you kind of get a big head about it. So when Alexia warms up the wax to apply another strip, I don't know if it got cold, something fucking happens and the strip gets stuck to Justine's body. And Justine is already having a cow. So first of all Alexia had to do was use her other hand to hold the skin taut and rip it. She didn't need those scissors. Like, she did not have to do that. But she goes and gets a pair of scissors. And this makes Justine
it doesn't make any sense to me because what are we going to do with the scissors? Like, can the scissors even cut through the wax at that point? Like,
I think maybe she was going to try to cut close to the hairs as she could till maybe she can pull it. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. You know me, I be trying to see where people be going with they shit. But what ends up happening is Justine gets nervous and kicks at Alexia and fucking chops her finger off.
I also want to know how sharp were those scissors and how hard did you have to kick her to make her chop her fingers off? Like, that don't make no sense.
Oh, you already know how I am with hands. Well, I talked about this in our last episode with teeth. Like, I broke my hand last year, and anything that got something to do with a hand, I just know how that should feel now. I just feel, whew. But, yeah.
The whole fucking finger was gone.
Yes, like, it kind of like after her first knuckle, right before the second knuckle of the middle finger is gone. And it's a clean
basically
cut.
Like the dude off the teeth.
Mm-hmm, basically. So Alexia passes out from the realization of, you know, she just got her fingers on the ground, not on her hand like it's supposed to be. And Justine is able to wake her up. So, you know, she calls 911. They tell her to put the finger in some ice. She starts looking around, unable to find any. She just sits down while she's holding the finger.
Girl, the
Starts
fridge was
examining
empty,
it.
bare.
Yes, but see, that's kind of on brand for a college student. But that's
At
pretty
least
on
have
brand.
some
I'm
ice
like,
in the freezer.
damn, like you couldn't break it. That ice didn't freeze over and like have a chunk of ice just hanging around the freezer part. No, okay. Well, and I guess you could have just put the finger in there too
In
and
the
just left it.
freezer. Like,
Yeah, I guess. What part am I at? Okay. So, you know, like I said, she's sitting there holding the finger, examining it. And as slow as I'm talking is as slow as the scene happens in the movie. And the finger starts to leak, you know, and I'm looking at her like, Juju, you better not. Girl, you better not. Ah, shit, girl, you done did it. This girl done nibbled a piece of this finger. And I'm like, okay, Ju, don't do no more. Like, you already licked the blood off your finger. Like, this, don't do it. She says, you know, one more bite won't hurt, and goes to town on this finger like it's a wing from Hip Hop Chicken Child. My face,
disgusting.
my whole mouth was on the ground. I was like, Juju, what are you doing? And it tripped me out even more when Alexia woke up because I was not expecting that bitch to wake up. I'm thinking
At this
that
point, I was like, first, she let the dog lick up the sister's blood. Because you see the dog was licking the blood. And then I was sitting there confused, like, what the fuck am I watching? Because, again, I didn't realize that they was fucking cannibals. And I'm like, you drank your sister's blood and then ate her finger? Like, what is wrong with you?
So I'm thinking that they were just going to cut to a scene of us in the hospital and then they were just going to blame the dog. Like, you know, nobody was ever going to know that Justine ate the finger. But Alexia wakes up, sees her sister chowing down on her fucking finger, and is looking at her with tears in her eyes. We're going to keep a tab on that because initially we just like, fuck, Charlie bit my finger and this shit is gone. But there's more to it. So the family, our mom and dad, they come back. This is their second appearance in the movie, midway. They come back and they're waiting in the hospital. This old man in this scene, why is he fucking with her like
Nasty.
that? And even the light change made that scene so much more dramatic. It was perfect. But Alexia comes out in a wheelchair, goes to bite her nail, but realizes it's missing and switches to the other hand. That shit had me cracking up. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but I chuckled at that. They end up saying that Quickie did eat the finger. He didn't, but, you know. They end up saying that Quickie ate the finger after it was cut off. Mom is back on her bullshit, arguing with the nurse for them not having sewn her finger back on or even giving her a prosthetic, something. But this ends up spilling into a small argument when Alexia tries to assert herself as fine and Justine tries to defend her, but all attempts, Dad is like, hey, yo, cut the shit. We're not about to do this right now. So Justine excuses herself and Alexis tries to go with her, but why does Mom yeet the fuck out of her by the scarf?
And then decides to push her her
to the bathroom. Like, see that control once again. So Justine purges outside before joining her dad for a cig. He tells her that Quickie has to be put down because he tasted human flesh, making it more likely for him to attack again. I heard that that's not true. Is it? I mean, I heard someone said that in different countries they have to, but I don't think that's true.
Well, okay, so I do know that my boyfriend, he had to put his dog down because the dog bit a police officer, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't the type of bite where like he like drew blood or anything. But
we won't dwell on it too long. He also tells her not to have two girls because it's too hard. We'll come back to that later. Alexia takes Justine off to talk after their parents finally leave. Justine is again confused because, you know, they ducked off on the side of the road and Alexia ain't talking about nothing. So why are they here? But it all comes together when Alexia darts out in front of an oncoming car and, yo, The first time I saw this, I was shook. I said, oh shit, that was you in the beginning? You a cannibal too? Damn. See, this is how, basically this is Alexia showing Justine how they had to satiate their hunger for flesh. She even tells her that she did this for her when Justine tries to get upset with her. Now we know that that look from earlier wasn't just the, oh shit, my sister's eating my finger. It's more of her understanding like, oh shit, my sister's like me.
So disgusting.
Overwhelmed, as again confused, Justine wanders along the road back to the campus. She even discards her blood-stained sweater, showing us that she's lost a noticeable amount of weight. So here, I think this is where the movie is commenting on like eating disorders, because even later, Alexia brings it up as well. So I think that's kind of what they're getting at here. So we go to their lab.
But I'm just like, dang, you just gonna walk down the highway with no shirt on?
She was in shock at that point. Even the car like honks at her.
That's what I'm saying.
She was gone at that point. Like she just couldn't take it. So we meet Justine and Adrian. They're in a lab, and Adrian is asking for assistance with his scrubs, trying to tie it up in the back. And Justine is so distracted by his scent that she can't even like tie the shit together. When they start dissecting these animals, is that Quickie on the table?
I didn't pay attention.
So I might have to watch this a third time and I will be fine with that. But I think it's the same dog, but I'm not sure. So anyway, after another initiation.
I didn't even know that they were dissecting a dog. I thought they were dissecting something else, but I didn't realize it was a dog. They had different
animals. Like somebody had a horse. Those two had dogs. So I saw different animals. But when I seen that one, I said, is that Quickie? Because that's why I was wondering, is that why Adrian was looking at her that way? On top of the way that she's just going to town opening this dog. Like no flinching. Just
I just thought.
I
just thought that that's why he looked at her.
It could
was
be.
The fact that she had just like no remorse. Let me just slice
when
this
we
bad
seen
boy
earlier.
open.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it probably is more. I mean, it is that more or less than. Well, I mean, not more or less than. We just wanted to know was that Quickie. But even when we see the scene of her reacting to how they did the horse, so yeah, that's exactly it. After another initiation, Justine was giving us Jeremy from Valentine Tees with the nosebleed while she was watching Adrian play soccer. I said, oh, okay, this is what we doing now. All right. Then we cut back. And this is when I was like, okay, so is that Quickie? Because when we cut back to the dog under the blanket, I assumed that she must have ate a piece of that dog. I don't know. It creeped me out just a little bit, only because the blanket moved on its own. I'm pretty sure it was on the string, but no, that shit just fucked me up a little bit. Okay, y'all, we got my favorite part in the movie. This dance in the mirror is a whole fucking vibe. It's giving, it's better, and I'm willing to die on this hill. It's better than the dance scene in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's better than Buffalo Bill's dance in Silence of the Lambs. Like, she's shitting on everybody with this dance. She is into herself. So this is just like that scene we were talking about in Teeth when Dawn was checking herself out for the first time. This is like Juju like vibing with herself. And the music, you guys heard it in the trailer. So if y'all want to get y'all life, y'all can rewind back to that and just play it. But, you know, we're going to move on. She's vibing out until she hears Alexia and Adrian playing video games over in the next room. Alexia makes a virgin joke to Justine because, you know, she got on that dress from earlier. And she also makes a joke saying, like, so have you lost weight because the dress fits better? So this is what I was talking about when the movie plays around with different eating disorders. It also, I'll hold it. It's fine. It's fine. I'll hold it. I do this all the time. It's cool. Justine lets Big Sissy know that the boy is mine. Even though he in the alphabet gang, you need to back up. Over video games, Alexia is honestly putting her little sister onto games, saying, you know, I know why you're losing weight. And I talked about this a few seconds ago, but we come back to it. She's telling her, you know, I've been through this before. Like, I'm trying to help you not take this road. But whole time, Justine is still denying herself, saying, you know, I only tried out your finger. I'm not like you. And I like what Alexia says back. She's like, so you can try something else other than my finger? Nothing else looked good? Was it good at least? I'm just like, you really okay with the fact that your sister ate your finger? Because I feel like I might have to stay away from her for a week or two. I might be a little mad about that.
She would have to die.
So Alexia actually was right, because late in the night, poor Justine is fiending under these covers. So this scene, if anybody is confused by what's going on, no one's beating Justine. She's just having withdrawals. That's all. It's a metaphor. That's all it is. Shortly after, Justine heads out to the hall where she ends up at this paint party. First of all, can you do this? So she walks in the room. She gets splashed with blue paint. One of the elders grabs her and a guy that's drenched in yellow, pushes them in a bathroom or closet, whichever, and they have to stay in there until they make green. And I'm like, all right, y'all about to fuck around and make purple and orange and maybe black, because, all right, go for it. This is exactly what kind of happens once Justine gets a little too comfortable and bites the guy's bottom lip, splitting it. That's what you get. Y'all literally just could have.
That made me like kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all literally could have just. First of all, okay, you know, trying things, yes, that's fine. But like paint,
very cringy.
I'm just like, we have to, like, we can just rub body parts and make ourselves green. We don't have to do all of this, like, you know. Like,
that's why I said it was very cringy for me.
Yeah. Speaking of things being on the floor, Justine goes to wash the paint off her body, finds a piece of the kid's lip, like, you know how sometimes it's still food in your mouth. She spits it out on the floor and decides to eat it. But while she's on the floor, baby, why is your toothbrush down there? On a college dorm floor?
Disgusting.
Oh, no, you don't got a caddy? No? Okay. Anyway.
It got thrown out the window or everything else.
It's like, oh, damn, you right. Damn, fucking elders. Meanwhile, once she finishes her shower, Adrian offers her a drag of his cigarette and a cuddle, and he's basically asking her about her kinks. He's trying to figure her out. And you know, here at D180, we love a kink. Like, I feel like the last few episodes
coming up, I do not like.
Yes, we've been calling out some kinks, but you know, she leaves him where she found him because she's not, you know, she's trying to do some damage control basically. But anyway, he pulls out his computer and begins, you know, slapping that monkey before she returns, and she tells him it's bad. So what she means is her kink. It's bad. But apparently he want to know what that be like, because they start going at it, and sis is having a good first time. I'm like, dang, sis, you sure? Like, okay, because it's pretty much some animalistic shit. And here's her kink. Obviously, we know what she is. She's a biter. But you can tell Adrian is like, okay, you doing a little bit too much. But realizing this, as she climaxes, she ends up biting down on herself and breaks the skin. And this scene, I don't know what about it, but I cannot fucking look away. It was so gorgeously done.
And she started sucking her own blood. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. You're weird. And this is a weird sex scene. Like, I've seen some weird sex scenes, but this one took the cake for me. Like, and I like some weird shit, and I have some weird kinks, but this was one that I just could not get with.
I just thought, as far as metaphors go, I thought it was, I hate sounding like this, but I just thought it was beautiful, because Adrian, I feel like any other guy probably would have been like, what the fuck, and, you know, had that reaction and dipped out. But it's like he really was like, you know, he ain't understand what the fuck was going on, but he's supporting her. So it was just something about that like, I don't know how to put it in words, but I liked it. So meanwhile,
what?
Later
on,
I
was gonna say, it reminds me of my boyfriend. He supports anything. Weirdo.
Later in class, Alexia texts Adrian to tell Justine to look at her phone. But all she's doing is telling her that, Quickie was put down. But Justine is trying to figure out
Then
why they got each
Quickie
other
went
number.
Their table.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about that, because I didn't think about that till the second time I watched the movie, and I knew this. I don't know. Must have been up in the clouds. Anyway, Justine is trying to figure out why they even got each other's number in the first place, because, Adrian has kind of established that he does not like her sister. Justine basically gets in her feelings. She just lost her virginity. You know how that go. But the argument gets so loud that Adrian tells Justine that they shouldn't have had sex because, he is gay, which confuses things for the both of us. Well, them, not us. But what I want to go here is, hold on, start over. So the argument ends up getting louder as Adrian tells Justine they shouldn't have had sex because he is gay, which confuses things for him. Adrian's side plot is well done. Normally, like Bride of Chucky, for example, how I talk about I fucking hate the Jade and Jesse side plot. This Adrian side plot is personal because he's trying to figure himself out just as much as she is, because he doesn't know he might actually be bisexual and not just gay. And I can imagine that that's hard to figure out, because he even says himself, he spent all these years being one thing and now people are expecting something else from him, but he might not be that. And that's just so sad. It touched me. But anyway, we go to another party. There's an eye licking scene. And at first you don't notice it until they get a bit closer and you're like, oh, she's really licking his eye. But the one thing I love about this scene is Justine was Billie Eilish before Billie Eilish was Billie Eilish. And I'm going to die on that hill too, okay? Her posture, we brought this up earlier, but this is really where you notice that she is not shy and timid anymore. Even when she goes to the bar to demand a shot, which turns out to be a full glass. And first of all, baby, you are tiny. That glass that you just taste a plastic cup, but that's going to knock you out. And it does exactly that. First of all, I love some liquid courage because that shit is funny. She goes through the crowd. She's not giving not one single F. She's flirting with guys and they girlfriends trying to get at her. And she took me out when she kissed that girl. She is not scared. She don't care. But anyway, her big sister grabs her. They head off to a morgue. A body is pulled out and it cuts to black. Garance plays drunk well because obviously we know that she was not drunk. She was underage. So I'm pretty sure she couldn't drink. But playing blackout drunk and you've never been that before, she convinced me because even when she lays out on that little table thing, you do that. When you get too drunk, you try to take rest anywhere you go. You trying to lay up and post up on something. And even when she goes to join her sister, that scene read to me, and I'll just relate it to me. That's kind of like when my sister gives me the eye and we about to go out wherever we finna go. I already know what time it is, And that's what I kind of thought. I thought, okay, they about to bond over eating a dead body. Okay, cool, whatever. So the next day, that first drink that Justine takes of that water is so real because I know she was dehydrated. I know she needed that.
Yeah, I had marked that down that was real life right there.
Yes. You dang near drunk the whole liter of water. But during her lecture, Justine barely is dressed. She's still in her clothes from last night. She's seemingly being looked down upon by her classmates. And, she can't figure it out. She's just thinking, I probably smell like sweat and alcohol, college stuff. We learn after Adrian pulls her aside that last night was not a sister bonding on the porch moment. But in fact, she was filmed while she was blackout. And Alexia is baiting her with a dead body. And oh my gosh, I'm a little mad that it wasn't the toe because I wanted to go, dead man's toes, dead man's toes. And it kind of pissed me off that it was the arm, but whatever. That's messed up. Why did her sister do that to her?
I don't know, but her sister
In
ain't
front.
shit.
Oh, that's so messed up. Rightfully so. This sends Justine into a frenzy, and she immediately rushes Alexia in the quad. Now they asses is fighting and biting in the yard, Jesus. Whew. Alexis done bit a plug out of Justine's cheek, but Justine ain't no hoe. She runs up on Alexia, and the two continue until they are broken up like animals with these little collars. And even the point before that, when they are like fighting and biting each other, you can tell after a while they're not trying to hurt each other, which is so like, it's not, I don't want to say it's weird. It's kind of like a understanding that they have between each other, but it's almost like, I know you said that you don't really argue with your siblings, but when I argue with my siblings, I know at the end of the day, like we still all we got. So I'm going to say what I got to say, but I still love you. It's almost like that to me, but breaking loose from the little collar things, the sisters carry each other home to bandage their wounds. And once again, there's a poster in the back that says, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, yes, that's what we're all thinking here. Because I don't even know if I would want my sister to bandage my face after that whole Brazilian deal. I just feel like if I'm not going to a nurse, maybe I should do this myself. So after all this, the sisters look at each other and exchange, a look of understanding. Alexia is sleeping in Justine's room, and Justine is about to head out to go, sleep in Adrian's bed. She does not lock the door when she goes. So a horn blows in the morning, signaling that rush week is over for the rookies, as we, the audience, stare at a wide shot of an empty quad that slowly fills with zombie-like freshmen. Meanwhile, Adrian and Justine are still in bed. Justine, awakened by the loudening music, turns over to caress Adrian, but stops as she moves her hand down, feeling something's not right. She exposes that Adrian has been laying in that bed dead. Baby, he got a whole chunk bit up out of that thigh. And oh my God, it's so sad. She has a whole breakdown. This poor baby is devastated because she doesn't remember doing this. She's arguing with him like, why didn't you fight back? Like shaking him, hoping that there's some inch of, I'm like, baby, you can't shake him like that. Because I mean, if it is an inch of life in him, you shaking it out. You gotta be gentle. But anyway, while she's doing this, she ends up finding a hole in his back that was left from that ski pole that he gave her earlier. So this is when she puts two and two together and realizes that because she did not lock that fucking door, that Alexia was the one that came over and stabbed Adrian and killed him. With this realization, Alexia is not too far over against the free edge, just like Justine was earlier, in a catatonic state. I almost thought that Justine was gonna kill her sister. What ends up happening is she takes her sister, both of them get cleaned up in the shower, and you can even see the bite marks that they left on each other. This shot, this next scene, we know what we're looking at, but we can't tell what's going on just yet, because what it basically is it's a blended shot of Alexia and Justine's face morphed into one. Turns out that Alexia is in jail for killing Adrian, but of course the sisters still have a close relationship. Justine pushing her bitten cheek up to the glass for Alexia to kiss before they leave her behind. Later, back at home, the mother excuses herself. She mad, you already know. She excuses herself, telling Justine to stay at the table until she finishes her veggies like she's 5. And Dad ends up having a convo with Justine, trying to explain the best he can, but it's hard because this shit is hereditary, y'all. Mama's a cannibal too. Oh, I like how they revealed it, because you look at his lip and you like, oh wait, no, something's not fucking right. And then you think about it, you're like, oh fuck, didn't Justine bite somebody's lip earlier, even though it was the bottom? And then he opens his chest and you see all these wounds, and one of them is kind of fresh. And he goes, I'm sure you'll find a solution, honey. And then the movie cuts and we get the ending title card. And ooh, see, the thing is, I know I rushed through that last scene, but the thing is, remember earlier we told you that the parents both went to the school together. When they started crushing or whatever, the mom did not want to kiss the dad, and he could not figure out why you know, they was into each other. Why you not kissing me, homie? What's up? I mean, you know, we can't ask those questions nowadays, but you know, what's going on? So when they finally did kiss and that happened, that's when he understood. But he just was there for her, and this is how they came to a common ground. And that's woo! That's so fucked up, man. This is such a good movie.
I did like the ending though.
I loved it. I was just like, because I really didn't know how they were going to wrap this up. I didn't know what was going to happen. We never see the mom doing anything. So it really just does come out of nowhere. And everything makes sense. You see why the mom is so uptight about everything, especially when it comes to what they're eating, because, you know, she probably didn't want Justine to get a taste of meat because she knew that that was going to happen. Even the dad's wardrobe, he's covered up. He always has a scarf on when they're in public. The lip thing, you know, you can't really do much to cover that, but he's always in layers of clothes. And I guess I could just go ahead and continue with, you know, my thoughts on the movie. But
so I just thought he had cleft palate surgery, which I thought was cool. I was like, oh, they got an actor who had cleft palate surgery or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they like it tied it in like that, I was like, oh shit.
Yes, it's very brilliant. Like, in general, this movie is brilliant at using cannibalism as a metaphor for womanhood, eating disorders, just all types of things. Of course, I love how the film is shot. I love the aesthetic of the movie. One thing I wanted to get into that I kept saying, I'll come back, is you can look at Alexia as a dark representation of what Justine could be. And I think that plays into the movie because Justine tells us that she does not want to be her sister. But what's the outcome? Because I feel like you can either be Alexia, you could be your mom, or I guess you can just learn how to navigate this and be your own thing. But what is that? You know, you still have to figure that out. I don't know. The subplot with Adrian, nothing in this movie lacked for me. Like, at first, I did think that Adrian and Alexia were into each other, but the director clears it up and he's like, she says, no, they're like, he's literally just friendly. Like, you know, he's going to tolerate her. That's Justine's sister. So, you know, it is what it is. I could probably go on and on about this movie. I'm glad that I was able to avoid any type of spoilers for so long. Like, I don't know how I did that. But actually, you know what? No, I can't say I don't know how I did that because we see that this movie really didn't get the run that I think it deserved. Because I just know if this movie had got a better push, that it would have done better. So for my survivors, Janae knows this, but now what we're going to be doing, we're going to be giving our rating along with our thoughts. And I was so conflicted with this movie because I already knew it was going to be up in the 90s for me. But when I watched it the second time, I told my boyfriend, I said, damn, I might give this movie 100. But I'm not. I am going to give the movie a 98. And the only reason I'm giving it a 98.
Wow.
And I'm being very petty with my 2 little percent. The only reason I'm giving it a 98 is because the director said it's not horror. But I low-key want to say, fuck all that, Slim. It is a horror. But I'm giving it a 98. Because, it's not, like, for me, Rad movie get you perfect. You are perfect. Okay, go ahead. I need to breathe.
So I'm gonna give the movie an 80. It's not that I didn't like it, and it's not that the movie wasn't a good movie. I just really struggled with what to rate it because I was disturbed the whole movie, honestly. I was eating popcorn while I was watching it, and I had wished that I had known that I didn't need to eat popcorn because then I got nauseous halfway through the movie. It was just too much for me. I
you need
I
the
don't
barf
know.
bag from the festival.
Yeah. I was literally like looking at the movie like, this is disgusting and I am disturbed. And at the end of the movie, I was still disturbed. And I don't know. So I'm going to give it an 80 because it's not like it was bad.
I feel you. I feel you. So another new thing, we're adding survivors. We're adding what is your favorite and least favorite part of the ride? We all know my favorite. My favorite part is the mirror dance. Like what? Yes, girl. Yes. My least favorite part of the movie will probably be when Adrian died because that really made me sad. I really wanted him to live. I was not expecting that to happen. So yeah.
I would say the best part of the movie was the ending, and not because the movie was over, but because of like finding out that the family. No, I'm not saying it's because the movie was over. It's because you find out like the family.
It was just funny the way you
except for the
slid it on
dad.
in there. The way you slid that was funny. That's what got me.
It's more so because of like you finding out that the mama is a cannibal too, and she just like ate the shit out. I just basically ate the fuck out that daddy chest.
Yes.
But that was like a nice shock factor. But my least favorite part had to be almost all of it. Sorry, nah. It was more so because it was weird. I just couldn't. I was really, my face was scrunched up the whole movie. I was like, what the hell am I watching? And what is this? I mean, it started making sense towards the end, but I was just like, what in the world? I was
I get you. I got you. Before I take us into the souvenir shop, I just want to say I really hope she continues to do something in the horror genre because, girl, you got it. And we want it. Like, just come to the dark side and just stay here for a while. Try us out, sis. You will like it. But me and my crew gonna bounce out to the souvenir shop. So, Miss Janae, let's roll.
It seems you survived. Well, before you go, join us in the souvenir shop.
I already mentioned earlier how at the premieres they had like the barf bags and things, and I'm just mentioning it here in the souvenir shop because I just feel like that should be a part of the promo. Even though I know she said she did not want that, I'm just saying, sometimes you just gotta, girl, get your coin, just do it. But the one poster I'm gonna point out, and all other posters let me say it again. The one poster I'm going to roll with in the souvenir shop, and all the rest of them we'll just post them on IG sometime this week. That pink poster with Justine's face, the scene from when she's staring at Adrian playing soccer. I think that's so perfect for this movie along with the nosebleed because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. It just says raw and that's it. That's it. It's like, is this a vampire movie? Like, is this what is this? Like, what's going to happen in this movie? I mean, once you read the plot, it probably tells you a little bit more insight. But just off top, I really dig that little cover. So, survivors, remember, normally at the beginning, I give you slight announcements. I pushed all that to the end. So, you ready? Here we go. Every month here at D180, we introduce a new theme. So, for April, I know it's still March, but y'all need to be prepared. So for April, the theme is Spring On the Remake. And of course, as I said last time, you already know what we're looking for. We're talking remakes, people. So if you want to submit your suggestion and have us review a movie, you can email us at destination180podcast@gmail.com. If they don't fit the theme, you can still submit. We'll just find somewhere else to put it. That's okay. If you want to see what's new in the park, you can visit us on IG at D180podcast. Follow us, of course, and stay up on what's going on with your favorite tour guides. Leave us a review wherever you listen to us. 5 stars would be nice. And, it would be even nicer if you, wrote some words. You like Janae's laugh. I don't, say something because it helps us pop up in other people's views so we can get more listeners and more survivors. Because if you're not a survivor, then that means you are unmarked or you is dead. And you need to be a survivor. So you should be down with the crew. And that's it, y'all. We'll see you next week with our first submission pick, Janae. We actually got one. This one is EXCISION. I have not seen this.
Neither have I.
So we gonna see what that be like. But we'll check y'all later, survivors. Peace out.
Bye.